So hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, do subscribe down below. This video is gonna be like a kind of sort of spilling the tea kind of situation, deciding to sit down and talk about some iconic moments in emo history. I asked you all to send me like iconic things that have happened in like the emo era. You sent me quite a lot of things. I've just picked out a few that I know like a lot on, and we're just gonna sit and have like a little discussion, give some opinions and thoughts and all that jazz. Got me Monster ready, poured into me fancy glass with me metal straw, save the environment and whatnot. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So we're going to start off with the whole Blackfur Brides Ashley kind of drama. I don't really have a lot to say on this, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of am still a bit like, what on earth even happened with that situation? Like, it was just a big blur to me. I feel like what's done is done, and what needed to happen, it has happened, and that was for the best kind of thing. I just feel like it was kind of long overdue. Like, I feel like if you look at like the Blackfur Bride stuff they released, like the final things they released with Ashley, you could just tell like something was up with them. I feel like there was probably a bit of tension there from maybe the album they made after Richard and Divine. I feel like from that stage, that's when things with them started to have that tension. So maybe it was like around that time that all the stuff happened. I personally think it was the best decision they could have done. Relieved he's gone and that they've managed to find a good replacement and get Lonnie in and kind of do what they need to do with that. And you know, I'll always kind of support them whatever they want to decide and do. I think they've just made the best decision they could have with that situation.
Turkey man ain't got no hands, so put your nubs up in the air and turk.
Okay, my next topic is about Brian Stars and his interviews. So if you don't know, if you're not aware, back in the day there was an interviewer on YouTube called Brian Stars, and he would interview like all the famous bands in the kind of alternative emo scene at that time. So like Blackfur Brides and Ask Alexandria and all bands like that pretty much. So they were really good interviews, like, you know, they got quite a lot of attention. Everyone kind of loved them. He did put them out quite frequently as well. Like, he would go like all over the place to do them. So I mean, like, props to him. Like, he got the content out that we kind of wanted. But the only thing is the interviews weren't really professional. His interviews were kind of very on the jokey, crude scale. The questions he would ask would just a bit inappropriate.
What are your biggest turn-ons? If Andy had to be your slave for the day, what would you make him do? If you were an STD, what STD would you be?
He would say that they're from the fans, but I don't ever really recall seeing fans ask that kind of thing. So I feel like a lot of the time he made the questions up himself, because I don't recall seeing the fans asking things like that unless there was like a forum or something, but I never saw that. So he did an interview with a band called Never Shout Never, and the lead singer pretty much kicked off at him and had a go at him because the questions he was being asked he didn't enjoy, and he didn't think that Brian was all there to interview him about the music and stuff. He just wanted to come in and ask silly questions.
I like people being real, and I like people, you know,
I honestly...
It seems like you are trying to make a mockery of all the bands that you're interviewing. Just these questions are ridiculous, dude. We don't really want to talk about this type of things. We want to talk about our art and what we're doing. We're in the studio right now, and that's what we've been doing.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
After this, he did an interview with Andy Bisak and Christian out of Blackfur Brides, and Andy like retaliated back at Christopher Drew from Never Shout Never and kind of called him out on like taking like the piss out of Brian.
Look, dude, I'm a serious artist, and I only answer serious artist questions. I also don't wear shoes, and I'm a piece of shit. You know what? I'm an artist. I'm an artist, and I make art.
And it was just like a big mess. Like, it was such a dramatic thing at the time. Like, I remember like reading about it and getting so like sucked into what's happening. You know, if you look at it as a kid or as a teenager, you would think, okay, yeah, he's out of order, like that's not fair on Brian, da da da. But going back now and watching it as a, you know, a young adult, yeah, I kind of see where Christopher was coming from, because the questions that Brian would ask are not really appropriate interview questions, and they kind of put journalists in a bad light, I want to say. Like, it's just not, it's not really what you want. If someone's going to interview you, you want to kind of talk about the important things like your music and your direction of where you're headed now and stuff like that. You don't really want to be answering stupid questions. So that was the big mess of the world that is Brian Stars. Eventually he stopped doing interviews. He had a band, I think, but it was just a big mess, and I'm pretty sure everyone pretty much fell out with him in the end. So I don't even know what he's doing nowadays, but yeah, it just kind of crumbled from the minute he got called out.
You know, and really we're, you know, especially whenever somebody's passionate and being true to their art and true to their heart, I mean, making a mockery of that, dude, it's
My next little topic is about something that hurts my absolute soul, and I didn't really want to talk about it, but here we go. It's the breakup of My Chemical Romance. Thank you for opening that wound and just rubbing some salt in. Obviously, this hurt my absolute soul. I didn't ever expect it to happen. Like, I was just happily thriving, you know, being my emo little self, and all of a sudden I wake up and read the news that they've split up. It was just such like a traumatic event, I want to say. Thankfully, they've come to their senses and have reunited and will eventually go on tour if the pandemic wants to, you know, take time off, take a day off. Luckily, we have them back now. All is right with the world. It wasn't a good time, you know. They were broken up for a good few years as well. Like, it wasn't just like a quick hiatus like what Fall Out Boy went and did, or like what Blink went and did. They literally just fully split up. A lot of them had their own projects, like Gerard had his own music and Frank did his own music, and Gerard did a whole bloody comic book Netflix series situation. Like, they all went and did like their own things, which kind of made them getting back together practically impossible. But you know, we're all glad that it happened and that they've actually reunited, so we thank them. Now, don't do it again, I swear. I can't handle it.
Start? I don't feel so good.
Finally, my last topic, I am going to discuss something that hurts my brain and my soul, is 21 Pilots being their cryptic selves. When I decided that I was going to be a fan of 21 Pilots, didn't think anything of it, you know, didn't think anything could go wrong in this situation.
I'm happy because I'm a gummy bear, gummy bear.
I just thought I could come along, enjoy their music, and just sit back and let them do their thing. This band is a band who like to play with your head. Cannot tell you how many nights I have sat up trying to decode whatever 21 Pilots are doing at that moment. Most bands will just drop a date and be like,
hey, album's coming out this day.
And you'll be like,
Okay, great. You know, thanks for letting me know.
but this band, they will just drop a date and you'll just be sat there like, okay, like, what are you doing? What are we expecting here? And they're just like, I don't know, like, figure it out yourselves. And then they just dip, you know, they just leave. They don't post anything for like years. They don't comment anything for years. They don't tweet anything for years. I love it. I thrive for it. But I don't want to have to put on my Sherlock cap every time you want to do something. Like, please, just get yourselves a schedule and just let us have a breather.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
Well, I've had about as much as I can take talking about emo moments. I feel like I'm going to combust. If I didn't talk about your emo moment, don't worry, I will probably make another part of this if it is well received enough, so I will definitely consider those ones. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this type of video, do let me know in the comments and give it a like so I know. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone!